Hi there. Bitcoin Cash is down by about 1% so far this week. It has been very resilient over this period of the past 2 to 3 months, while quite a number of altcoins, even the biggest ones, are dropping to, I would say, the accumulation cycle. Either they've just started or they are beginning getting into the panic period. However, for Bitcoin Cash, it's not the case. It's still within the distribution cycle. So let's take a look at it and see what are the whales doing and where it may possibly head to. If you're new to my sessions, I'll cover the Wyckoff stage, trend change potential, as well as key price levels. These are education content only, not financial advice. Looking at the weekly chart of Bitcoin Cash, last week was very phenomenal because for 2 consecutive weeks, the bulls were able to defend this level at around $516. Okay, this, interestingly, if you look across, there isn't much reference. There was 1 week in November last year that stopped at this level. Mid-December, both weeks touched upon this level. Not that, it was like a closing or opening range. Not until we get to November 2024. So it shouldn't be a strong level, so to speak. Okay? It's going to come down to about 500, 480 to 500 before it shows a clearer support zone. Okay, so now it's staying slightly above it, not getting to the 500 or even the yellow key level 482. Okay, that was a massive move over here. Look at the volume bar. Okay, so it may be able to stand for another week or two around this level before a bigger bounce or bigger drop comes. Because look at what happened this week as well as last week. The bulls tried to push the price above the green key level 540, but they got shot down quite heavily. So sideways between yellow and green, those 2 key levels, is the base case. Like what happened back in October all the way into mid-November last year. Okay, the price was trading around this range. However, if any bigger moves of Bitcoin or the like Ripple or a couple of other bigger altcoins, when they come down from the distribution cycle and drop deeper into accumulation, that's when Bitcoin Cash is going to face a big challenge. All right. I already mentioned about, these sign of weaknesses. And looking at these, you can clearly see that this sign of weakness has been set. It's actually lower than these sign of weaknesses that stayed or closed above 540. And the next would be the test to the 482 level. There wasn't really a bounce where whales offload their last bit of stock in hand. It's still, if I turn it to the line chart, you see this mini bulge over here. You can still count it as a last point of supply, but it's not like these kind of bounces that's way clearer. I would say it's pretty weak to interpret in a more clear way. If the bulls have a stronger support, they would have closed very close to the 540, but they weren't successful either for 2 weeks as of this moment. Okay, so for the coming weeks, the very key is when it comes to retest the yellow key level 482. Can the bulls defend this time? If not, it is going to come to challenge the lower levels, the orange 427, the red 379, when it enters the accumulation cycle. Whether or not it's going to break the 379 red key level and accumulate like what it did back in summer 2024, as well as spring 2025, we'll soon find out. Probably a few weeks later, we'll be able to see where it's actually heading to. So that's the big picture. It's a bit pessimistic because across the board, it's still like that, basically. The sentiments and also the charts just show us that, okay, it's getting rejected by key levels and it's not going back to the support. The previous support is actually acting as resistance now. So there are dual resistance. If you want an optimistic view, whether the price would go up, that's the resistance it has to break. So if it's continue to get rejected, if it wants to challenge the previous high, like the 679 blue key level, that extends all the way into summer this year. Okay? Assuming it doesn't get into accumulation cycle, right? Just to edge up, if that's going to happen. Or, if there are really crazily good news all of a sudden, I don't know, the whole world is embracing crypto, then it breaks through this line, then that's another story. Okay, just to let you know different scenarios. Okay, daily chart, micro views. Feb 9th has gone. This chance was missed. What are these chances, or what are these dates? These are the dates where we would potentially get confirmation that this downtrend started back in mid-January. It's going to finish. Right? It was slightly up, but then from mid-Jan, it started this leg downwards. Remember I talked about this support trend line, right? All these dates, not only is below that trend line, the price couldn't even get through 540. So it kept being rejected for 7 days, 8 days already. Actually, if you count from this, it's actually 9 days, excluding the initial drop from here. 9 days, it wasn't able to break or go back to about 540. So the risk is building. The risk towards the downside is absolutely building. You see this top clearly. And look at the volume over here. Declining, and then the red is building up. So very interesting is that today and the past couple of days, excluding this crazy, selling and then, buying the dip, is this line over here. We drew this line in the past sessions. Look at how, I don't know what the word to use, obedient, or how structured people are playing the game. Always between these two lines, 520, 540. Okay, not too bad. If you buy from 520 and then sell at 540, that's still around 4%, every single day. See, it drops to around 515, let's say, and then it goes back up to 540. That's what the candlesticks are telling us for the past 4 days. However, we're getting to this point, okay? The 13th of February, as it edged closer to this triangle, either it breaks outside of this downtrend, meaning it breaks through this ceiling, or it's going to get rejected. Today we're getting rejection already, right? The boost tried to push it. We're getting rejection, not falling through the 521 or 520 level, but time is running out. In the next 2 to 3 days, we'll know whether the price is going to be rejected again. Okay, coming back down to re-challenge the yellow key level, or even falling through it all the way to the orange key level 427. It happened here, it can definitely happen again. So the next 2 days are key. After 13th of Feb, if it really gets rejected, the next chance to confirm or to challenge this downtrend channel is by 21st of February. So there are definitely dates further down the timeline we can cover in future sessions. Okay, for now, that's Bitcoin Cash. Not looking very optimistic. So keep an eye on it. If you're interested to access these sessions 2 days earlier than the others, join the channel membership now. Here's another video for you. Thank you.